Hey guys, the new OpenAI model O1 in O1 preview and O1 mini recently came out a few days ago, and I made another video about this yesterday for the actual news that is the news that this is coming out, what it means and so on, so be sure to check out that video first. In this video I will be testing this a bit out. I will check 5 different prompts between the different models here, O1 preview, O1 mini and 4.0, just to see how it goes about addressing the question differently in these different models. So I'm really excited to see how this actually produces different results in practice between these models. So stay tuned to see the results, and I'm excited to see what the results will be. Hey guys, I'm Stefan. I'm the founder of the data management bureau Rafael's Ambassadors, and as mentioned, today we'll go all over these different models and be testing them out actually in practice to include some a little bit challenging prompts, challenging topics. So let's just see how this actually performs. So I have 5 different prompts here. I will be testing it on logical deduction on with ambiguous data. We'll be testing it with complex problem solving in sequential steps, multi-layer hypothetical scenario, ethical decision making with conflicting priorities, and mathematical proof involving prime numbers. So let's just get right ahead and see how this actually performs. So here we have the first prompts. You have 4 cards placed on the table, each with a letter on one side and a number on the other. The visible sides of the card show the following: A, D, 3 and 7. A rule states if a card has a vowel on one side, it must have an even number on the other side. Which cards do you need to flip to test if the rule is being followed? Explain your reasoning. So let's just test this against all the different models and see what actually happens here. So here we see immediate results in O1 mini and 4.0, whereas the O1 preview uses much more time to actually provide an answer. We can see it's analyzing here. We can see the testing here in 4.0. You can't see the initial reasoning, or you can, in the 4.0 version you can't see the initial reasoning here, but here that you can do in O1 mini and O1 preview, which is pretty interesting. So this is kind of coming into this kind of topic of explainable AI. It's being more integrated into the OpenAI models. It's pretty interesting to see. And so now we have 4 different results. Let's just see first how 4.0 provided the results. Okay, to test the rule, if a card has a vowel on one side, it must have an even number on the other side. We need to identify which cards could potentially violate the rule and check them. Here's how to approach this. Card showing A is vowel. According to the rule, the other side has must have an even number. So this card needs to be flipped to see if it has an even number. Card showing D is a consonant, not a vowel. The rule says nothing about consonants, so we don't need to flip this card. The rule only applies to vowels. 3, card showing 3. 3 is an odd number. According to the rule, if there is a vowel on the other side of the card, it will violate the rule because a vowel should have an even number on the other side. So we need to flip this card to check if there is a vowel on the other side. Card showing 7. 7 is also an odd number, but flipping this card isn't necessary because the rule is only concerned with what is on the other side of vowels. An odd number on one side does not immediately tell us about any vowel constraint unless the number is paired with a vowel. Conclusion: you need to flip the card showing A and 3 to test if the rule is being followed. So let's check here if the others provided the same results. Here you see different results, which is pretty interesting. So here you said it said A and 3. Here it says A and 7. A must show an even number and 7 must not have a vowel on the opposite side. here it's denied this, and here it's said flip A and flip 3 and 7. So all of these models produce different results on this, which is pretty interesting, but also kind of makes sense as it's kind of ambiguous data included in this task. So let's see, how did this actually think in this case. Let's see, thinking about how Watson described. So it's going through kind of the academic discussions about these kinds of rules, evaluating card selection, analyze conditions, determine which card. Rule is a conditional statement of the form if P vowel. So this goes more into like the maths of it, and addresses like mathematical rules and stuff based on the academic literature and stuff, it seems, and then it goes uses that kind of approach to go about this. And so we can see here as well. Here it hasn't mentioned anything about this kind of Watson selection task process or rule, so here that's pretty interesting to see which kind of rule of thumb is taken basis in. We see that both in O1 Mini and O1 Preview. O1 Mini naturally analyzes this much faster. This one is more thorough here. So evaluating card selection, examining cards. Each card, see if they have odd numbers, if vowels this task on the other side wasn't. Let's analyze each. Even you need to flip over the following cards: A3 7, A3 7, odd number 3. It says it doesn't need to flip 3. Here it says it doesn't need to flip 3, while it says to flip 3 in this case. So let's see what the reasoning for this is. You need to check if so here it says, while 3 is an odd number, the rule specifies the vowel must have even numbers, not the other way around. There's no restriction on consonants or other letters having odd numbers. While here it says Q is false, you need to check if P is true on the other side. It must not be a vowel. Not the rule specifies that. Okay, so it has a different understanding of the assignment between O1 Mini and O1 Preview in this case, where it takes basis in the same rule, but it applies it or it interprets it differently. So it has to, in this case, it assumes that it has to be checked on the other side, must not be vowel, while here it says that it only applies to vowels. That vowels must have even numbers, not the other way around. There's no restriction on consonants or other letters having numbers visible. A rule states if a card has a vowel on one side, it must have an even number on the other side. So here in O1 Mini it takes basis in this this detail here, whereas here it's Q is false, which is pretty interesting. The rule says the vowels must have even numbers, not the other way around. There's no restriction on consonants or other letters having odd numbers. The very specific. Okay, let's move on. So it says that note card showing D consonants. It also takes a different order of analyzing as well. Like card A, here's notes. The rule does not specify any requirement for cons. So here, so this is interesting as well. Since the rule only concerns vowel, consonant does not provide any information relevant to the rule. So it says the same understanding of the D card here. But yeah, it says the same understanding of D here, but it also okay. So the conclusion of this this task, at least, is that it provides completely different results on these three. It's and what's also interesting is that O1 Preview and O1 Mini provides different results here, that it takes basis in the same rule that it finds, but interprets it and applies it differently on the two answers. So in one case is A and 3 and 7, and in this other case is A and the 7 card. So pretty interesting to see the different applications here. So let's try the next one. Let's see with the complex problem solving how it addresses this differently. Let's just try and see what happens when we put that in the same chat. I think we need to reload here. Okay, let's try O1 Preview. O1 Preview. Okay, let's see what happens here. So we have the first finisher is for O, finish this first, O1 Mini afterwards, and then the O1 Preview. So let's see how this actually addresses these questions, which will be pretty interesting to see here. So what I find a bit fascinating as well is that this kind of shows me in Norwegian while the O1 Mini goes in English, which is, yeah, I don't completely understand the reasoning for that, but maybe this takes basis in more of the kind of memory as well that I have used on ChatGPT from earlier chats, which I assume is the reason why it provides in Norwegian here and English here. So let's see what actually happens from here. Now it's taking a bit longer than usual, so let's see what actually happens here. First, we can, yeah, we can probably see it first. First, the official. Okay, so the prompt is you're given 3 water jugs with capacities of 8 liters, 5 liters, and 3 liters. The 8-liter jug is full, while the others are empty. Your goal is to measure exactly 4 liters only using these jugs. Explain each step of the solution. So here, okay, what are the steps here? Let's see how it produces different results here. Okay, so what are the results? Let's first look at the results. Okay, step 1. Fill the 5-liter jug from the 8-liter jug. This they all agree on. So that's interesting to see that first, going from 8 liter to 5 liter, they are fill the 5-liter jug from the 8 liter, and then J8 has 3 liters remaining, and J5 has 5 liters. So this they all agree on, it seems. And then going over to step 2, let's see here, from 5 to 3, 5 to 3, and 5 to 3. Okay, so all of them agree on this. Let's see the next step, 5 2 liters remaining from the 5 liters, 2 liters, and then 3 full at 3 liters, and 3 liters. Yeah, 3 liter jug completely, 2 liters there. Okay, so we're still at the same page between these 3 different steps. That's good. So let's see here, pour out the water from the 3 liter jug. So the 3 liter jug is empty. Okay, here there is a difference here. So let's see here, what happens now? Okay, so here it just says empty the 3 liter jug. And here it says empty the 3 liter jug. While O1 Mini has gone to empty the 3 liter jug back into the 8 liter jug. So here it actually transfers it over to the 8 liter jug again, while in this case it empties the 3 liter jug. Empty jugs. 3 liters, 2 liters. Okay, this is interesting. Let's see how has it understood this task differently here. That will be interesting to see. Let's just go through the next steps first to see how it goes from here. So from step 4, it's, let's see. Okay, 2 liters from the 5 liters to the remaining 2 liters from the 5 liters into the 3 liter jug. These two still agree on this, and here it's from J5 to J3. Transfer remaining 2 liters from the 5 liter jug to the 3 liter jug. Okay, so here it's still okay, so here 5 liter jug is empty, 3 liter jug contains 2 liters, and here J8 is in 6 liters, whereas here is just a 5 liter which is empty and 3 liter jug is 2. And in this case the 8 liter has 3 liters, 5 liter has 2 liters. 2 liters, 3 liters here, 0 liters in the 5 liters, which is the same as here, and then 2 liters in J3, which is the same except this case. And then yeah, and then pouring from J8 to J5, we have filling the 5 liter jug from the 8 liter jug, which is, let us see here what actually happens. Step 5, fill the 5 liter jug again from the 8 liter jug. 8 liter jug has 3 liters remaining. Pour water from the 8 liter jug into the 5 liter jug. Since the 8 liter jug only has 3 liters left, pour all 3 liters. So let's see the results here. So from 8 over to 5, 8 over to 5. And then here 8 over to 5, so they all agree on the 5th step here, and ends up with empty 3, 2, okay, empty, okay, here it goes to 5 liters, and here it goes to 3 liters. Okay, contains 3 liters here. Contains 5 liters here, and here it contains 2 liters. That's interesting as well. So now it completely diverges. So here is 1 liter left, 5 liters left, 2 liters left, which is actually the same. Okay, except this one, J8 is 1 liter left here. Here is 0 and 5 and 2. So now there are different kind of totals as well. So here let's go to the last step from J5 to J3, J5 to J3. transfer water from it can only take one more, 5 liter, 2 liters remaining 5 liters. Okay, that is 2 liters here, and it has 4 liters here, and it has 4 liters here. So it's and then in this case it has 3 liters in J3 in all of them, but in the 5 liter jug it has different versions. So yeah. And here it's also, so what's different between what we see different here between the different models as well is that here we get a lot more elaborate explanations. Okay, there are even more steps here as well. So we see much more elaborate here, much more elaborately explained, and we see here in the O1 Mini we actually get a table which shows the results in a more organized form, which is pretty neat. Whereas here in the O1 preview, thought in 106 seconds. Let's see if this provides us on the table or anything. No, it just provides the explanation. So that's something that seems to be doing better with O1 Mini. It provides more of a summary with a visual table, visual representation, much more organized and easier to understand from the O1 Mini compared to the O1 preview, as well as showcasing much better how it's thinking than the 4.0. So in this case I would say the O1 Mini actually is a more useful and helpful model to actually get answers from, provides much better explanations and for this kind of challenging assignments. So in this for this case I would say O1 Mini absolutely won in this case. So so yeah, but let me know what you think. Let's go over to the third prompt. We still have like 3 more prompts to go, so let's get right ahead with these. So let's see how this goes. Okay, now I need to, oh my goodness. So let's see what happens here. Okay, I need to actually zoom out a bit. Okay, delation. Okay, so now the new prompt is: a spaceship is traveling from Earth to Mars at 50% the speed of light. 2 astronauts, so this is basically on a multi-layered hypothetical scenario. So a spaceship is traveling from Earth to Mars at 50% of the speed of light. 2 astronauts, one on board the spaceship and the other at mission control on Earth, communicate through video calls. Due to the relativistic effects of time dilation, the astronaut on board perceives time differently. If they have a 10-minute conversation, how long does the astronaut on Earth experience this conversation lasting? Use the theory of relativity to explain your answer and provide the correct formula and calculation. Let's see how it does on these different models. Okay, here we get the immediately get the calculation. Here it takes some time. Here we get different factors first. It goes through a step-by-step calculation, interpretation of the result, summary of the calculation, and a conclusion with the formula. Let's see what are the results. So all of them said 11.55 minutes. So that's a good thing, 11.55 minutes to calculate as the final result. Let us also see how it goes about actually answering. Here it thought in 12 seconds, understanding time dilation first. And let's see how it goes about it here. Here it goes directly to just the step-by-step process. Doesn't explain anything about or here it goes to a bit into time dilation, but not as detailed as here, and it mentioned the same It mentions the same formula here, which is good. And then let's see, okay, both have here, yeah, here there's first a more elaborate, here is more elaborate explanation than in O1 preview actually, and then understanding time dilation, it's also a bit better explanation there, it seems, going into a special theory of relativity, time passes at different rates, and then the key idea, and then goes over to the key concepts and definitions. So here it actually defines it more thoroughly as well, with explanations of the scenario as well. So that is pretty good, I would say. Here it explains it a lot more elaborately, which is really good. And then it goes over to the step-by-step calculation. Let's see. And then it's pretty much the same in terms of, or wait, here it's a step-by-step calculation with 3-4 steps, here it's in 2 steps, and then here it goes to the interpretation of the results, and then it provides a summary of the calculation, provides a conclusion. And yeah, it's as in the previous case, it provides a table, much better visual, easier to understand in general. So also in this case, I would say the O1 Mini performs better in this case. So I will, like, at this point I'm at the case where I would prefer to use O1 Mini in the case where I would choose between O1 Preview and O1 Mini. In a lot of cases, in O1 Mini, I also get a lot more prompts. In O1 Preview, I got 30 per week, and in O1 Mini, I get 50 per week. So now it's a matter of switching between 4.0 and O1 Mini, I think, because at this point, I don't see a reason to use O1 Preview if it continues at this pace. When I get better visual understanding and conceptualization, and actually, in some cases, also better results from using O1 Mini compared to O1 Preview, which is pretty interesting in my opinion. So let's get right into the fourth prompt. At this point, here we have ethical decision making with conflicting priorities. Let's see how these models handle this. So here immediately, here O1 Mini actually produces results faster than 4.0, which is pretty interesting. And here we also see the let's see how it goes about addressing this. So here it goes over to utilitarianism, deontological ethics. That is the same in all three. In this case, it's based in the same kind of frameworks for understanding ethics, and it goes into detail about from the utilitarian perspective and the deontological perspective, and explains that thoroughly. So here we actually see that utilitarianism here is a more kind of elaborate explanation here, or here it starts by understanding the ethical framework, and here it goes right into analyzing the outcomes. Just a brief explanation of the utilitarianism, while here is also brief, but also getting the key idea from it before it goes ahead and goes over to actually applying it in practice. So here you see here in both cases it applies the different options. So you see here it's a bit more elaborate how it lists up the consequences for different groups as well. Okay, high risk of fatality, potential and harm, possible injuries, fatalities, and then you see the same here in option 2, and then provides the utilitarian decision. So minimize harm, will weigh the total harm and benefits. Conversely, yep. So it provides this, similar kind of ideas, but overall it's more elaborate, I think, here in O1 Mini as well, which is pretty interesting. So, and then here it's the approach, same kind of idea here, a bit similar to here. It just explains utilitarianism and then goes right into the different arguments, and then doesn't produce a lot of conclusions here, or it does say that this, however, is a weaker argument, but it doesn't provide kind of any conclusions like are done in this case here with above. Here is provided an actual utilitarian decision, while here it's just address the different arguments. Here it says what would actually be the reasonable utilitarian decision, and also the same with the deontological perspective. Here it provides a conclusion as well, so that's something that both of these models do better than 4.0. It actually provides a better summary to better understand what the conclusion actually is from it. So this is pretty interesting, and here as well it provides the conclusions. Swerve to avoid the pedestrian, swerve to avoid the pedestrian, and summary. Presence of moral conflict, but no decision is free from ethical compromise. The development of. Okay, so that's a bit interesting. So here it provides an ultimate. In both, in this case, 4.0 and 0.1 preview agree, actually, that both should swerve to avoid the pedestrian in both cases, while here it may support action that minimizes overall harm, whether that's swerving or continuing forward. So here it's a bit more uncertain what will actually minimize overall harm. Whereas here it says that it takes pretty guaranteed it's more sure that is the right approach to swerve to avoid the pedestrian in both cases. So that's something that's interesting here as well. It actually doesn't find a conclusion of what minimizes overall harm in 0.1 mini compared to 0.1 preview and 4.0. So this is a bit interesting here. So the conclusion here is like it doesn't have any concluding idea which takes on both cases based on this case, whereas 4.0 and 0.1 preview does. So that's something that may take you a step back and consider that kind of 0.1 mini may not be, or may take some more kind of ambiguity into account, but also makes it less able to make kind of ethical considerations, or it does really well in making ethical consideration, but it's not as good as making ethical conclusions. So that seems to be a challenge with 0.1 mini. So that may be something that can be actually improved in 0.1 mini compared to the other ones. So here I would say 0.1 preview actually does reasonably well, even though 0.1 mini generally provides better kind of considerations on visual perspective and understanding. Here it's much more ambiguous of what the conclusion actually is than in the two others. So yeah, that's the case here, and then let's jump right over to the last prompt and see how it performs on mathematical proof involving prime numbers. So here we say prove or disprove. There are infinitely many prime numbers. Provide a step-by-step explanation using formal mathematical reasoning and relevant theorems. Statement. Let's see here. Okay, here we've gotten the conclusion here. There are infinitely many prime numbers. There are infinitely many prime numbers. By assuming there are infinitely many prime numbers. There are infinitely many prime numbers. There are infinitely many prime numbers. So all of them lead to the same result, at least here. and here is also provide some reasoning. Let's see here, okay, now we're way past that. Okay, it thought in 1 second, so it thought pretty quickly here, also in this case. What? Okay, so that's strange. So now it's telling me, sorry, I can't do that. I can't charge your credit card. This is due to OpenAI, OpenAI conditions that prevents me from handling credit card information. So for some reason, even though this is goes into asking for a prime number, for some reason now I'm getting this message that it's kind of interpreting that I'm trying to do something with my credit card information. So this must be a bug with O1 preview. So that's pretty interesting now that, okay, I'm trying to get it to provide thinking for what is actually behind it, and it has interpreted it correctly, but still it shows the thinking as in showing something completely else, which is really, really strange here. So that must be a bug that needs to be fixed up. Not sure what's going on there, but definitely something to look out for, to put it that way. So yeah, so that's another thing here, that we've actually noticed a bug during this test process, which is pretty interesting. So let's see here what more we can see. Okay, so they go by proof by contradiction. We go by Euclid's proof. Let's see if we can find back to here as well. So yeah, the following the method by the Greek mathematician Euclid. So that also for O1 mini, and let's see, O1 preview. Is this mentioning Euclid? No, it's not mentioning Euclid here. Proof by contradiction, indirect proof. Okay, here it doesn't mention Euclid. Okay, here it mentions Euclid proof in the end. 300 BC in its work Elements. So here it also includes the actual reference book of where Euclid stated this. So that's also an interesting thing, that it provides more details of the original proof. So that is an interesting takeaway here. So I would say that is a good starting point. But let's see here as well. Assume the opposites. Understanding the assumption for. So contradiction, construct a new number. Here it's similar, assume the opposite, construct a new number. Analyze the new number. Analyze the new number. Let's see, derive the contradiction. Or contradiction. Reach a contradiction, and then we have the conclusion from there. Okay, so it takes basis in the same kind of process, but here it's kind of more overview of the summary. Yeah. It provides a good summary here, so also in this case, O1 mini does real well with providing the results here. So that completes the proof. So this one case where O1 preview, I liked that O1 preview also included that Euclid 300 BC in its work Elements. That is a bit more of the background details, which I like to have included in the results. Which would be nice to have in O1 mini as well, even though in O1 mini here we got a better kind of overview and summary in the end, which I like a lot, that it provides it much more clearly. This isn't done as clearly in O1 preview, so in this case too I will say O1 mini 1 in this case, even though O1 preview was interesting as well, that it had this kind of feature and on the background details. But what was also interesting here is that it had this bug too, which provides some challenges when you want to actually understand the thinking about it, that it's thinking that it's doing something completely else. So yeah, so I will conclude the video here. This has been 5 different prompts tested with the different models, with O1 preview, O1 mini. and 4.0. So we found some interesting stuff here. I liked 0.1 mini the best, provides better summaries, better visual explanations with tables, with summaries, and so on. Whereas 0.1 preview in some cases has more kind of elaborate background and picks up on a few details, which is interesting. But we'll also found this 0.1 preview bug that it's trying to find in credit card information, but is blocked from the OpenAI terms and conditions there. So pretty strange bug here, but that's definitely something they have to fix up in as well. So yeah, that'll be it for this video. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about these new models, if you tested them yourselves, what you think, what you expect from these onwards. Also, if you have any other ideas of videos I should make about testing these new models in practice, also let me know in the comments below. Other than that, be sure to like and subscribe for more videos, examples, demos like this. And other than that, just wish you an amazing day forward, and I'm looking forward to see you in the next video.